The scream tore through the night like breaking glass. Taraji collapsed to her knees, clutching the contract that would destroy her life. $50,000 in exchange for her daughter. Her hands trembled as 7-year-old Sabrina slept behind her, innocent and unaware. The wealthy woman's words echoed like poison. Sign by tomorrow or I'll take her anyway. Taraji had 24 hours to decide. Keep her child and watch her starve on the streets, or give her away and lose everything that made life worth living. Outside, a black Mercedes waited in the darkness. Watching. Waiting. Hunting. Hello friends, welcome to our story. Before we start, please like this video, share and subscribe. Also tell us in the comment where you watching from. Is it United States, London, maybe Canada, Jamaica, South Africa or anywhere? We want to know. The city never sleeps. It hums with 1,000 voices, 1,000,000 dreams and countless broken promises. Tonight, rain hammers down on cracked pavement like angry fists demanding entry. Thunder rolls across the sky, shaking windows and rattling souls. In a small, dimly lit room on the forgotten side of the city, a woman sits on the edge of a bed that sags in the middle. Her name is Taraji. She is 32 years old but looks much older. Her hands are rough from work. Her eyes carry shadows deeper than the night outside. But right now, those eyes are fixed on the most beautiful thing in her broken world. Her daughter, Sabrina. 7 years old. Curly hair spread across a thin pillow. Sleeping peacefully despite the thunder, despite the cold, despite everything. In sleep, she looks like an angel who wandered into the wrong story. Taraji reaches out and gently brushes a curl from Sabrina's forehead. Her hand trembles. Not from cold. From fear. On the floor beside the bed lies an envelope. Red letters scream across the front. Final notice. Taraji has looked at it 17 times today. Each time her stomach twists tighter. Each time the walls seem to move closer. 7 days. That is all she has left. 7 days to find money she does not have. 7 days to save the only home her daughter has ever known. 7 days before they are thrown onto the streets like garbage. Taraji stands up slowly. Her knees ache. She worked 14 hours today. 3 different jobs. A cleaning shift at the hospital that started at 5 in the morning. A lunch rush at the downtown diner. An evening stocking shelves at the convenience store. Her body screams for rest, but her mind will not let her sleep. She walks to the window and stares out at the city lights glowing in the distance. Somewhere out there, in those bright towers and beautiful homes, people are warm. People are safe. People are eating dinner without counting every bite. A tear slides down her cheek. She wipes it away quickly, angrily. Crying does not pay rent. Crying does not fill empty stomachs. Crying does not fix anything. Behind her, Sabrina stirs in her sleep. She mumbles something soft and sweet. Mama. Taraji closes her eyes. That word. That single perfect word. It is the only thing that keeps her standing. The only thing that makes every exhausting day worth surviving. She turns back to look at her daughter. I will protect you, she whispers into the darkness. No matter what. I promise. But even as the words leave her lips, she feels how hollow they sound. How can she protect anyone when she cannot even protect them from hunger? From cold? From the world that seems determined to crush them both? Lightning flashes, throwing sharp shadows across the room. For just a moment, everything looks different. Dangerous. Like a warning. Thunder follows so loud it shakes the walls. And somewhere across the city, in a mansion that could hold 50 rooms like this one, a woman stands at her own window, staring out at the same storm. Her name is Tiana Kingsley. She wears a silk robe that costs more than Taraji makes in 6 months. Her home glows with warm light. Original paintings hang on every wall. Crystal chandeliers cast rainbow patterns across marble floors. Everything is perfect. Everything is beautiful. Everything is empty. Tiana's hand rests on her flat stomach. Her perfectly manicured nails press against the expensive fabric. Her jaw clenches so tight it hurts. Behind her, on a desk made of imported wood, lies a medical report. She has read it 100 times. The words never change. They burn into her mind like acid. Irreversible. Impossible. Never. You will never be a mother. Tiana's reflection stares back at her from the dark window. She is 41 years old. Beautiful in the way money makes people beautiful. Perfect hair. Perfect skin. Perfect everything. Except for the one thing that matters. The one thing money cannot buy. A child. She has everything. Everything. But the universe has denied her the only thing she truly wants. The only thing that would make her life complete. The only thing that would prove she is more than just wealth and status and power. Her phone buzzes on the desk. She ignores it. It buzzes again. And again. Finally, she picks it up. A message from her assistant. Tomorrow's charity event confirmed. The Children's Hospital fundraiser. Your speech is at 7. Tayana's lips curve into something that is not quite a smile. Children's Hospital. Of course. She will stand on stage and smile and talk about hope and helping the unfortunate. She will write a check that means nothing to her but everything to them. People will clap. They will call her generous. They will call her kind. They will never know about the rage burning inside her. She sets the phone down and returns to the window. The rain continues to fall. The city continues to shine. And in that moment, Tayana makes a decision. It forms in her mind like a seed taking root in poisoned soil. She does not have words for it yet. She does not have a plan. But something dark and desperate settles into her heart. If she cannot create life, she will take it. Back in the small room across the city, Taraji finally lies down beside her daughter. She does not sleep. She counts hours until her next shift. She counts dollars that do not exist. She counts the days until everything falls apart. 7, 6, 5, 4. The numbers echo in her head like a countdown to disaster. Sabrina shifts closer in her sleep, seeking warmth. Her small hand finds her mother's and holds tight. Even unconscious, even dreaming, she knows where safety lives. Taraji squeezes back, memorizing the feeling of those tiny fingers. She does not know why, but suddenly she is terrified. A cold feeling spreads through her chest that has nothing to do with the weather. Something is coming. Something terrible. Something she cannot stop. The rain pounds harder. The thunder grows louder. And two women, separated by money and power and an entire city, lie awake in the darkness. One desperate to keep what little she has. One desperate to take what she believes she deserves. Tomorrow their worlds will collide. Tomorrow everything changes. Tomorrow a nightmare begins. But tonight, in this moment, Taraji holds her daughter close and whispers promises she does not know she cannot keep. And Tayana stands at her window, staring at a city full of children that belong to other people. The storm rages on. Morning breaks gray and cold. The storm has passed but left its mark everywhere. Puddles fill the broken sidewalks. The air smells like wet concrete and exhaust fumes. Taraji wakes before the sun rises. She always does. Sleep is a luxury she cannot afford. She moves quietly through the tiny room, careful not to wake Sabrina. Every sound feels too loud. The creak of the floorboards. The drip of the leaky faucet. The rumble of her own empty stomach. She has not eaten in 2 days. There is food but not enough. Never enough. So she makes a choice she makes every single day. Sabrina eats. Taraji does not. She opens the small cabinet above the sink. Inside there are 3 items. A box of cereal nearly empty. Half a loaf of bread. A jar of peanut butter with maybe 2 spoonfuls left. She does the math in her head. This needs to last 3 more days until she gets paid again. Her hands shake as she measures out a small bowl of cereal for Sabrina. No milk. They ran out yesterday. Water will have to do. Behind her, Sabrina begins to wake. Taraji hears the soft sound of movement, the tiny yawn, the rustle of blankets. Mama? Taraji turns with a smile that takes effort. Good morning, baby. Time to get ready for school. Sabrina sits up slowly. She looks tired. Too tired for a 7-year-old. Dark circles shadow her eyes. Her clothes hang loose on her small frame. But when she sees her mother, she smiles. That smile could light up the entire city. Is there breakfast? Sabrina asks quietly. Of course, Taraji says brightly, bringing over the bowl. Your favorite. Sabrina looks at the cereal floating in water. She does not complain. She never complains. She learned long ago that complaining makes her mother's eyes fill with tears, even when she is smiling. Are you eating too? Sabrina asks. I ate already, Taraji lies smoothly. While you were sleeping. I was so hungry I could not wait. Sabrina nods, but her eyes say she does not quite believe it. Still, she picks up the spoon and begins to eat. Small bites. Slow. Making it last. Taraji watches her daughter and feels her heart break in 1,000 new places. This is not the life she dreamed of. This is not what she wanted for her child. When Sabrina was born, Taraji held her tiny body and made promises. Big promises. Beautiful promises. I will give you everything. I will make sure you never go hungry. I will keep you safe and warm and happy. 7 years later, every single promise feels like a lie. Mama, are you okay? Sabrina's voice cuts through her thoughts. Taraji blinks and realizes tears are rolling down her face. She wipes them quickly. Yes, baby. Just tired. Mama worked a lot yesterday. You always work a lot, Sabrina says softly. That is because I love you so much, Taraji says, kneeling down beside the bed. She cups Sabrina's face in her rough hands. Everything I do for you. You know that, right? Sabrina nods. I know, Mama. Good. Now finish eating. We cannot be late. 20 minutes later, they step out into the cold morning. Taraji locks the door behind them, checking it twice even though they have nothing worth stealing. The hallway smells like mold and cigarettes. Paint peels from the walls. A light flickers overhead, buzzing like an angry insect. They walk down 3 flights of stairs because the elevator has been broken for months. On the second floor, they pass Mrs. Milo, an elderly woman who looks at them with pity that makes Taraji's skin burn. Good morning, Mrs. Milo says quietly. Good morning, Taraji replies, walking faster. Outside, the city is waking up. Cars honk. People rush past, buried in their phones and their own problems. Nobody looks at the woman and little girl walking hand in hand. Nobody sees them. They are invisible. Just 2 more struggling souls in a city full of them. The walk to Sabrina's school takes 30 minutes. Taraji could take the bus, but that costs money. So they walk. Every day. Rain or shine. Hot or cold. Sabrina's hand feels small and cold in hers. Taraji squeezes gently. Are you warm enough? Yes, Mama. Another lie. Taraji can see her daughter shivering in her thin jacket. The jacket is 2 years old and too small. But there is no money for a new one. There is barely money for anything. They pass the bakery on 5th Street. Warm smells drift out every time the door opens. Fresh bread. Sweet pastries. Sabrina steps slow just a little. Her eyes linger on the window display. Golden croissants. Chocolate muffins. Cakes decorated like dreams. Maybe one day, Taraji whispers, hating herself for another promise she cannot keep. It is okay, Mama, Sabrina says, pulling her gaze away. I am not hungry. Taraji's throat tightens. Her daughter is 7 years old and already knows how to lie to protect her feelings. What kind of world teaches children to be that strong? That careful? That sad? They keep walking. Finally, they reach the school. It is a public school, old and overcrowded. The building needs paint. The playground equipment is rusted. But it is free, and that is all that matters. At the front gates, Taraji kneels down one more time. She straightens Sabrina's collar, smooths her hair, tries to make everything perfect even though nothing is. Have a good day, baby. Learn everything. Be good. I will, Mama. Sabrina hugs her tight. Too tight. Like she is afraid to let go. Taraji holds her daughter for an extra moment, breathing in the scent of her hair, memorizing the feeling. Then she forces herself to step back. I love you more than anything in this whole world, Taraji says. I love you too, Mama. More than the stars. It is their special saying. Something Taraji started when Sabrina was 3 years old. On the worst nights, when there was no food and no heat and no hope, they would lie together and count invisible stars on the ceiling. And Taraji would say, I love you more than all of them combined. Sabrina turns and walks toward the school building. She looks back twice, waving both times. Taraji waves back, her smile frozen on her face until Sabrina disappears inside. The moment her daughter is gone, the smile drops. Taraji's shoulders slump. The weight of everything crashes down on her all at once. She has 4 hours before her next shift. 4 hours to somehow find a miracle. 4 hours to figure out how to save them both. She pulls the red envelope from her pocket and stares at it again. Final notice. 7 days. 6 days now. 6 days to come up with $1,200. She has $37 to her name. The math is impossible. The situation is impossible. Everything is impossible. But she cannot give up. Giving up means Sabrina sleeping on the streets. Giving up means losing the one stable thing in her daughter's unstable life. Giving up means failing the only person who matters. Taraji takes a deep breath and starts walking. She has calls to make. People to beg. Options to explore that she has already explored 100 times. Somewhere, somehow there has to be a way. She does not know that across the city, Tiana Kingsley is waking up in her massive bed, staring at the ceiling of her master bedroom, thinking about the charity event tonight. She does not know that Tiana's assistant has already prepared her speech, picked out her dress, arranged her car. She does not know that tonight, their lives will intersect in a way that will destroy everything. She does not know that in a few hours Tiana will see Sabrina, and everything will change. The morning sun climbs higher, casting long shadows across the city. Some shadows fall on wealth. Some fall on poverty. but they all stretch toward the same horizon. By the time the sun sets, nothing will ever be the same. Taraji walks faster, her mind racing through impossible solutions to impossible problems. Tiana sits in her luxury car, being driven toward a day of meaningless appointments that will fill the meaningless hours of her meaningless life. And Sabrina sits in her classroom, trying to focus on math problems while her stomach growls and her head feels dizzy and her body knows what her mind refuses to accept. She is starving. The teacher's voice fades in and out. The numbers on the board blur together. Sabrina grips her pencil tighter, trying to focus. Trying to be good. Trying to make her mama proud. But the room starts to spin. The lights grow brighter, then darker. Her heartbeat pounds in her ears. And then, without warning, everything goes black. Sabrina collapses. Her head hits the desk with a sickening thud. Her body slides from the chair and crumples to the floor like a broken doll. For one terrible moment, the classroom is silent. Then someone screams. The school nurse's office smells like antiseptic and old Band-Aids. Harsh fluorescent lights hum overhead, casting everything in a sickly white glow. Sabrina lies on a narrow cot, her eyes fluttering open slowly. Everything feels heavy. Her head throbs. Her mouth tastes like metal. "There you are, sweetheart," a gentle voice says. The nurse, Miss Patterson, leans over her with concerned eyes. "You gave us quite a scare." Sabrina tries to sit up, but a wave of dizziness pushes her back down. "Easy now. Just rest. We have called your mother. She is on her way." Panic floods through Sabrina. Mama is at work. She cannot leave work. She needs that job. Miss Patterson's expression softens with something that looks like pity. "She needs to be here more. When did you last eat a proper meal?" Sabrina's face goes carefully blank. She has learned this skill. How to hide. How to protect. "I ate breakfast this morning." "What did you eat?" "Cereal." "And yesterday?" Sabrina hesitates. Yesterday was harder to remember. There was bread, she thinks. Or was that the day before? The days blur together when you are hungry. "Sabrina," Miss Patterson says gently, sitting on the edge of the cot. "Your teacher says you have fainted twice this month. You are losing weight. Your focus is poor. These are signs of malnutrition." That word, malnutrition. It sounds clinical. Like something from a textbook, not something that happens to real children. "I am fine," Sabrina whispers. "Please do not be mad at my mama. She tries so hard. She works all the time. She gives me everything she has." Miss Patterson's eyes shine with unshed tears. "Oh honey, I'm not mad at anyone. But your mother needs to know how serious this is." "She knows," Sabrina says quietly. "She knows everything." Before Miss Patterson can respond, the door bursts open. Taraji stands there, breathing hard like she ran the whole way. Her work uniform is disheveled. Sweat dampens her forehead. Her eyes scan the room frantically until they land on Sabrina. "Baby." She rushes to the cot and drops to her knees beside it. Her hands shake as she touches Sabrina's face, her arms, checking for injuries. "What happened? Are you hurt? Are you okay?" "I'm okay, Mama. Just a little dizzy." Taraji looks up at the nurse. "What is wrong with her? Is she sick? Does she need a doctor?" "I can find money for a doctor if she needs one. I will find it somehow, I will." "Mrs. Thompson," Miss Patterson interrupts gently. "Your daughter fainted from hunger." The words hang in the air like an accusation. Taraji's face drains of color. Her mouth opens but no sound comes out. Shame washes over her features, raw and terrible. "She needs proper nutrition," the nurse continues. "Regular meals. If this continues, I am required by law to file a report with Child Protective Services." Those words land like a bomb. Taraji's whole body goes rigid. No, please. I'm feeding her. I feed her everything I have. I'm doing my best. I promise I am doing my best." "I am sure you are," Miss Patterson says, her voice kind but firm. "But your best is not enough right now. Sabrina needs help. You both need help." "I do not need help from anyone," Taraji says, her voice cracking. "I need time. I need one good break. I need the world to stop crushing me for just 1 second so I can breathe." "Mama, do not cry," Sabrina says softly, reaching for her mother's hand. "I'm sorry I fainted. I will be stronger. I promise." Taraji looks at her daughter, at this tiny person apologizing for something that is not her fault, and something inside her shatters. She pulls Sabrina into her arms and holds her so tight it almost hurts. "You have nothing to be sorry for," she whispers fiercely. "Nothing. This is not your fault. None of this is your fault." Miss Patterson watches them with sad eyes. She has seen this before. Too many times. Poverty is not a failure of character. It is a failure of the system. But knowing that does not change anything. Does not fill empty stomachs or pay impossible bills. Take her home today, the nurse says quietly. Make sure she eats. And think about accepting help. There are programs. Food banks. Assistance. I have tried, Taraji says, her voice hollow. I make $30 too much to qualify for anything. I am stuck in this impossible place where I earn too much for help but too little to survive. I am sorry, Miss Patterson says, and she genuinely means it. I truly am. 20 minutes later, Taraji and Sabrina walk out of the school together. The sun is high now, bright and indifferent. The world keeps moving like nothing happened. Like a 7-year-old did not just collapse from starvation in one of the richest cities in the world. Where are we going, Mama? Home. You need to rest. But your job is not as important as you. It is a lie. Taraji just walked out in the middle of her shift. She will likely be fired. That is one more income stream gone. One more piece of their fragile stability destroyed. But right now she cannot think about that. She can only think about getting her daughter home and feeding her something. Anything. They walk in silence, hand in hand. Taraji's mind races through calculations. She has $37. She can buy food. Real food. Enough for today and maybe tomorrow. But then what? The rent is still due. The bills are still piling up. The eviction is still coming. She is drowning and someone just tied bricks to her ankles. They pass a small grocery store. Taraji leads Sabrina inside. The fluorescent lights are harsh. The aisles are narrow and crowded. Everything costs too much. She picks up a loaf of bread, peanut butter, bananas, a small carton of milk. She wants to buy more. She wants to fill a cart with food and feed her daughter until she is full. Until she smiles. Until her cheeks are round and healthy and her eyes are bright. But she cannot. She has to make this money last. At the register she counts out bills and coins. The total comes to $18.37. She has $18.53 left. The cashier bags the groceries without looking at them. Another transaction. Another day. She does not see the trembling hands or the desperate eyes or the small child swaying slightly on her feet. Nobody sees them. They walk home carrying their meager supplies like precious treasure. Back up the 3 flights of stairs. Back into the small room that is too hot in summer and too cold in winter. Back to the life that grinds them down a little more each day. Taraji immediately makes Sabrina a peanut butter sandwich. 2 slices of bread with thick smears of peanut butter. She pours a full glass of milk. She peels a banana. Eat slowly, she instructs. Small bites. Sabrina eats like she has never seen food before. Her hands shake. Her eyes water. When she finishes, she looks at her mother hopefully. Can I have more? Of course, baby. As much as you want. Taraji makes another sandwich. And another. She watches her daughter eat 3 full sandwiches and 2 bananas and drink 2 glasses of milk. Her heart breaks with every bite. How long has Sabrina been this hungry? How long has she been hiding it? Finally, Sabrina's eyelids grow heavy. The food and the stress and the exhaustion catch up with her all at once. I am sleepy, Mama. Then sleep, baby. I will be right here. Sabrina curls up on the bed and within minutes she is unconscious. True deep sleep. The kind that comes when your body finally gets what it desperately needs. Taraji sits in the only chair and watches her daughter breathe. In and out. In and out. Each breath is a miracle. Each breath is a reminder of what she stands to lose. The red envelope still sits on the floor mocking her. Final notice. 6 days. 5 days now, actually. Time keeps moving forward whether she is ready or not. She thinks about Miss Patterson's words. Child Protective Services. They could take Sabrina away. They could decide Taraji is unfit. They could put her daughter in the system, in foster care, with strangers who might feed her but would never love her the way Taraji does. The thought is unbearable. Absolutely unbearable. Taraji drops her head into her hands. For the first time in years, she allows herself to truly break down. Sobs shake her body. Tears pour through her fingers. Every wall she has built, every brave face she has worn, every lie she has told herself that everything will be okay, all of it crumbles. She cries for her daughter. She cries for herself. She cries for the life they should have had and the life they are trapped in. She cries until there are no tears left, only dry, gasping breaths and a pain so deep it has no name. Hours pass. The sun begins to set, painting the room in shades of orange and red. Sabrina sleeps on. Taraji sits in the growing darkness, staring at nothing. Her phone buzzes. A text message. She does not want to look, but she does anyway. It is from the convenience store. The one where she just walked out mid-shift. Do not bother coming back. You are fired. She stares at the message until the screen goes dark. Then she sets the phone down very carefully like it might explode. 3 jobs are now 2 jobs. 2 jobs are not enough. They were barely enough before. Now there is no possible way. The math screams in her head. Impossible. 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 She needs a miracle. She needs divine intervention. She needs something that does not exist. And across the city, in a ballroom decorated with flowers and crystal and champagne fountains, Tiana Kingsley stands on a stage wearing a dress that costs $8,000. Cameras flash. People applaud. She delivers her speech about helping children in need with perfect diction and a warm smile. Every child deserves a chance, she says, her voice carrying across the room. Every child deserves love and care and opportunity. That is why I am so passionate about this cause. Children are our future. They are precious. They are everything. The crowd erupts in applause. Someone wipes away a tear. Tiana smiles graciously and steps off the stage. Her assistant appears immediately with a glass of wine. That was beautiful, Mrs. Kingsley. Truly inspiring. Thank you, Rachel, Tiana says, taking a sip. The wine is expensive and tastes like nothing. Everything tastes like nothing lately. She moves through the crowd, shaking hands, accepting compliments, writing checks. She plays her part perfectly. The generous benefactor. The caring philanthropist. The woman who loves children so much. If only they knew the truth. If only they knew about the empty nursery in her mansion. The baby clothes she bought and never used. The dreams that died with each negative test, each failed procedure, each doctor's gentle but final verdict. You will never be a mother. She smiles at another donor. She laughs at someone's joke. She poses for a photo with the hospital administrator. And then she sees her. A little girl standing near the refreshment table with a social worker. The girl looks out of place in her too small dress and worn shoes. But her face is perfect. Enormous brown eyes. Delicate features. Curly hair that catches the light. She looks like an angel. Tiana's breath catches. Her heart, which has felt dead for so long, suddenly pounds against her ribs. Rachel, she says quietly, never taking her eyes off the child. Who is that little girl? Rachel follows her gaze. Oh, that is one of the children from the hospital program. They bring a few to these events. She was treated for malnutrition last week, I believe. Her name is Sabrina. Sabrina. The name echoes in Tiana's mind like a bell. Like fate. Like destiny. Where is her mother? I'm not sure. I think she is home with her. They are very poor. Single mother, I believe. Struggling to make ends meet. Tiana's pulse quickens. Something dark and hungry unfurls in her chest. This is not compassion. This is not kindness. This is want. Pure, desperate, consuming want. She watches Sabrina accept a cookie from the table and take small, careful bites. Making it last. Savoring every crumb. The child glances around with wide eyes, overwhelmed by the wealth and beauty surrounding her. Tiana moves closer as if pulled by invisible strings. Hello, she says, her voice soft and gentle. What is your name? Sabrina looks up at her, startled. Sabrina, ma'am. That is a beautiful name. Are you having a good time tonight? Sabrina nods shyly. It is very pretty here. Like a castle. Would you like to see a real castle someday? Sabrina's eyes go wide. There are real castles? There are. And beautiful dresses and toys and all the food you could ever want. That sounds like a fairy tale, Sabrina whispers. Tiana kneels down, bringing herself to eye level with the child. Up close, she is even more perfect. Even more precious. Even more exactly what Tiana has been searching for. What if I told you fairy tales can come true? Tiana says softly. Before Sabrina can respond, the social worker appears. Mrs. Kingsley, hello. Are you enjoying the event? Tiana stands smoothly, her public mask sliding back into place. Very much. You have done wonderful work. But her eyes remain on Sabrina. And in that moment, something solidifies in Tiana's mind. Something dark and irrevocable. This child. This perfect, beautiful, innocent child. She needs her. She must have her. She will have her. Tiana reaches into her purse and pulls out her business card. She hands it to the social worker. If you need anything for this program, anything at all, please call me. I want to help however I can. That is very generous, Mrs. Kingsley. Tiana smiles. Then she looks down at Sabrina one more time. It was lovely meeting you, Sabrina. I have a feeling we will see each other again very soon. Sabrina nods politely, not understanding the weight of those words. Tiana walks away, her mind already working. Already planning. Already calculating. Rachel hurries to catch up. Mrs. Kingsley, your car is ready. Change of plans, Tiana says, her voice cool and controlled. I need you to find out everything about that little girl. Where she lives. Who her mother is. Every detail. Ma'am? Just do it, Rachel. Tonight. I want a full report by morning. Rachel knows better than to ask questions. Of course, Mrs. Kingsley. Tiana walks out into the cool night air. Her driver opens the door to her black Mercedes. She slides inside, surrounded by leather and luxury and the faint scent of expensive perfume. As the car pulls away from the event, she stares out the window at the city lights. Somewhere out there, in some tiny, crumbling apartment, that little girl is sleeping. That perfect, beautiful little girl who needs saving. Who needs a real home. Who needs a mother who can give her everything. Tiana does not think about the woman who already calls herself Sabrina's mother. Does not consider the bond between them. Does not care about the love that exists in that small, poor space. All she knows is what she wants. And Tiana Kingsley always gets what she wants. Always. The car glides through the night, carrying her toward a decision that will destroy lives. But Tiana feels no guilt. Only purpose. Only certainty. Only the dark, hungry satisfaction of a woman who has finally found exactly what she has been looking for. Behind her, the charity event continues. People laugh and drink and celebrate their generosity. They raised a lot of money tonight. They helped a lot of children. None of them know that they just witnessed the beginning of a tragedy. That a predator spotted her prey. That a nightmare is about to begin. And in the small room on the forgotten side of the city, Taraji sits in the dark beside her sleeping daughter, completely unaware that a storm is coming straight for them. A storm with money and power and lawyers and the ability to take everything. The countdown continues. 5 days until eviction. But that will not matter. Because in 48 hours Tiana Kingsley will knock on their door. And nothing will ever be the same again. Morning comes too fast. Taraji barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw numbers. Bills. Deadlines. Eviction notices. The weight of impossible choices crushing her chest until she could not breathe. She forces herself up before dawn. Her body aches in places she did not know could ache. But there is no time for pain. No time for exhaustion. She has 2 jobs left and she cannot afford to lose either one. Sabrina is still asleep, curled up under the thin blanket. Her face looks peaceful. Almost healthy after yesterday's food. Taraji stands over her for a long moment, memorizing every detail. The curve of her cheek. The way her eyelashes fan across her skin. The tiny scar on her chin from when she fell at the playground 2 years ago. I will fix this, Taraji thinks fiercely. Somehow I will fix this. She leaves a note on the table. Gone to work. There is bread and peanut butter for breakfast. I love you more than the stars. Mama. Then she slips out into the gray dawn, locking the door behind her. The hospital shift is brutal. 4 hours of scrubbing floors and emptying trash and cleaning bathrooms that always smell like sickness and disinfectant. Her hands turn red and raw. Her back screams. But she pushes through because she has to. Because stopping means giving up, and giving up means losing everything. At 10 o'clock, her supervisor calls her into the office. Taraji's stomach drops. She knows that look. That tone. Taraji, we need to talk about yesterday. I am so sorry, Taraji says immediately. My daughter was sick. She collapsed at school. I had to go to her. It will not happen again. I promise it will not happen again. The supervisor, a tired woman named Janet, sighs heavily. I understand. I do. But this is the 3rd time this month you have left early or called out. We need reliability. I am reliable. I am here every single day. I work harder than anyone. I know you do. But the rules are the rules. I am putting you on probation. One more incident and we will have to let you go. Probation. Another tightrope to walk. Another impossible standard to meet while her whole life falls apart. I understand, Taraji whispers. Thank you for the second chance. She walks out of that office feeling like she is made of glass. One more hit and she will shatter completely. The rest of the day blurs together. Her second shift at the diner passes in a fog of orders and dirty plates and customers who do not tip. By the time she gets home at 6 in the evening, she is so tired she can barely stand. But Sabrina is waiting. Sabrina is always waiting. Mama? She rushes to the door, throwing her arms around Taraji's waist. I missed you. I missed you too, baby. How was your day? Did you eat? I ate breakfast. And I saved some bread for you. Taraji's throat tightens. Her 7-year-old daughter is rationing food to make sure her mother eats. The wrongness of it, the absolute tragedy of it, makes her want to scream. But she just smiles and kisses the top of Sabrina's head. That is very sweet. Let us eat together. They share the remaining bread and peanut butter, sitting on the bed because there is only one chair. They talk about Sabrina's day. About the book she is reading at school. About the drawing she made of the two of them holding hands under a sun with a smiley face. Can I keep it? Taraji asks, looking at the crayon drawing. Of course, Mama. I made it for you. Taraji tapes the drawing to the wall beside the bed. They're one decoration. They're one piece of beauty in this ugly, broken place. Mama, Sabrina says quietly, picking at the crust of her bread. Are we going to be okay? The question hits like a punch. Taraji wants to lie. Wants to promise everything will be fine. But she is so tired of lying. I am trying very hard to make sure we are, she says carefully. Sometimes grown-up problems are complicated. But no matter what happens, I love you. That will never change. Understand? Sabrina nods, but her eyes look scared. Children always know more than adults think they do. They feel the tension. They sense the fear. Before Taraji can say anything else, there is a knock at the door. Both of them freeze. Nobody ever knocks on their door. They have no friends. No family. No visitors. Taraji's heart starts to pound. Is it the landlord? Did he move up the eviction? Is this it? Is this the end? Stay here, she tells Sabrina, standing slowly. She walks to the door like she is walking to her execution. Her hand trembles as she reaches for the knob. She takes a breath. Opens it. A woman stands in the hallway. Beautiful. Elegant. Wearing clothes that probably cost more than Taraji makes in a year. Behind her are two men in expensive suits, carrying briefcases. Taraji Thompson? The woman says, her voice smooth and cultured. Yes, Taraji manages. Who are you? The woman extends a perfectly manicured hand. My name is Tiana Kingsley. May I come in? I would like to discuss something very important with you. Every instinct screams danger. But Taraji steps aside because what else can she do? You do not say no to people who look like this. People with money and power and lawyers. Tiana walks into the small room like a queen entering a dungeon. Her eyes scan everything. The peeling paint. The stained floor. The single bed. The pathetic little kitchen. The poverty that hangs in the air like smoke. Her gaze lands on Sabrina, who shrinks back against the wall. Hello, Sabrina, Tiana says softly. Do you remember me? From the party? Sabrina nods, her eyes wide. Taraji's confusion spikes into alarm. How do you know my daughter? Tiana turns back to her with a smile that does not reach her eyes. I met her at a charity event 2 nights ago. Such a lovely child. Absolutely lovely. The two lawyers position themselves near the door, blocking it, trapping them. What do you want? Taraji asks, her voice shaking. Tiana walks to the window and looks out at the dying light. I want to help you, Taraji. You are in trouble, are you not? Behind on rent? About to be evicted? Working yourself to death and still unable to make ends meet. How do you know that? I make it my business to know things. Tiana turns back and now her expression is harder. Calculating. I know you are 5 days from homelessness. I know you lost a job yesterday. I know your daughter fainted from hunger at school. I know you are drowning. Taraji's hands clench into fists. What do you want? She repeats, her voice harder now. Tiana walks closer. I want to offer you a solution. A way out of all this suffering. Hope flares in Taraji's chest despite herself. What kind of solution? Money. Enough to pay your rent for a year. Enough to quit your terrible jobs and find something better. Enough to feed your daughter properly and buy her new clothes and give her a real chance at life. Sounds too good to be true. Sounds like a dream. Sounds like a trap. Why would you do that? Taraji whispers. Tiana's smile returns. Cold. Predatory. Because I want something in return. The air in the room changes. Becomes heavy. Dangerous. What? Taraji asks, though part of her already knows. Part of her can feel the nightmare taking shape. Tiana looks at Sabrina. Really looks at her. With hunger in her eyes. With possession. With the gaze of someone who has decided something belongs to them. I want your daughter. The words land like bombs. Taraji actually staggers backward. What? I want to adopt Sabrina. I want to raise her as my own. Give her everything she deserves. Everything you cannot provide. No. The word rips out of Taraji's throat. Absolutely not. Get out. Get out right now. Tiana does not move. Neither do the lawyers. Hear me out before you refuse. Think about what you are condemning your child to. Think about what her life will be like with you. She has love. She has me. That is what matters. Is it? Tiana's voice turns sharp. Does love fill her stomach? Does love keep her healthy? Does love stop her from fainting at school? She is 7 years old and already suffering from malnutrition. How long before it causes permanent damage? How long before Child Protective Services takes her away anyway and puts her with strangers who do not love her at all? Each word is a knife. Each word finds a wound and twists. You do not know anything about us, Taraji says, but her voice wavers. I know everything about you. Tiana nods to one of the lawyers. He opens his briefcase and pulls out a folder. I know you are $20,000 in debt. I know you have no family, no support system, no safety net. I know you are one emergency away from complete collapse. And I know that every day your daughter suffers because of circumstances beyond your control. The lawyer hands the folder to Tiana. She opens it and shows Taraji the contents. Documents. Financial records. Medical reports from the school. Photos of their building, their apartment, the poverty they live in. I had you investigated, Tiana says calmly. Thoroughly. And here is what I found. You love your daughter desperately. You work hard. You try your best. But your best is not enough. It will never be enough. The system is designed to keep people like you crushed under its heel. Tears stream down Taraji's face. Please leave. Look at her, Taraji. Tiana gestures toward Sabrina, who is crying silently in the corner. Really look at her. She is scared. She is hungry. She is small for her age because she is not getting proper nutrition. Is this the life you want for her? Is this the future you dreamed of? Stop it. I can give her everything. The best schools. The best doctors. Beautiful clothes. A warm home. Stability. Safety. A future. All I am asking is that you let me save her from this. She does not need saving. She needs her mother. Tiana's expression hardens. Then you are more selfish than I thought. The accusation stings worse than a slap. One of the lawyers steps forward. Mrs. Thompson, perhaps you should look at these documents. He hands her a stack of papers. This is a contract. If you agree to voluntary termination of parental rights, Mrs. Kingsley will pay you $50,000 immediately. Additionally, she will clear all your debts and pay your rent for the next year. $50,000. The number echoes in Taraji's head. $50,000. More money than she has ever seen. More money than she could earn in 5 years. Enough to change her life. Enough to breathe. Enough to survive. But the cost. The cost is her daughter. Her soul. Her reason for living. No, she whispers. I will not sell my child. You are not selling her, Tiana says. You are giving her a chance at a real life. Think of it as the ultimate act of love. Sacrificing your own happiness for hers. She will be happy with me. Will she? When you are living on the streets. When she is taken by child services. When she grows up knowing her mother could not provide even the most basic necessities. Get out. Taraji's voice breaks. Get out of my home right now. Tiana studies her for a long moment. Then she nods slowly. Very well. But I am leaving these documents with you. Read them. Think about them. Think about what is best for Sabrina, not what is best for your feelings. She walks toward the door. The lawyers follow. But at the threshold, Tiana stops and looks back. You have until tomorrow evening to decide. After that, I will pursue other options. Legal options. I have lawyers, Taraji. Very good lawyers. If I decide you are an unfit mother, I can make that case in court. I can take her anyway. But I would prefer to do this with your consent. It is cleaner. Kinder. You cannot do that. I can do anything I want. I have money. I have power. I have connections. You have nothing. Tiana's smile is cold and final. Think carefully. You have no one to protect you. Then she is gone. The door closes. The footsteps fade down the hallway. Taraji stands frozen, the contract still clutched in her shaking hands. The room feels different now. Poisoned. Violated. Mama? Sabrina's small voice breaks through the fog. What did that lady want? Taraji drops the papers and rushes to her daughter. She pulls Sabrina into her arms and holds her so tight it hurts. Nothing, baby. She wanted nothing. But that is a lie. Tiana wants everything. and she has the power to take it. Sabrina clings to her mother, crying without understanding why. I am scared, Mama. I know, baby. I know. But I promise you, I will never let anyone take you away from me. Never. Do you hear me? Never. Taraji rocks her daughter back and forth, making promises she does not know if she can keep. Because for the first time in her life, she has met someone who scares her more than poverty. More than hunger. More than anything. Someone who wants to steal her child and has the resources to do it. The contract sits on the floor, its pages glowing in the dim light. $50,000. A year of rent. Freedom from debt. All for the low, low price of her daughter's life. Outside, a black Mercedes pulls away from the building. Inside, Tiana Kingsley sits in the back seat, staring at her phone. On the screen is a photo of Sabrina. Beautiful. Perfect. Soon to be hers. Did she sign? Rachel asked from the front seat. Not yet. But she will. What if she does not? Tiana's smile is cold and certain. Then we move to plan B. Either way, that child will be mine. I have decided. And I always get what I want. The car glides through the darkening streets, carrying a predator who has tasted blood and will not stop until she has her prey. Back in the small room, Taraji sits on the bed with Sabrina in her arms. Her mind races through options that do not exist. Escapes that are not possible. Ways out that lead only to dead ends. She looks at the contract. Then at her daughter. Then at the eviction notice still sitting on the floor. 4 days until they are homeless. 1 day until Tiana expects an answer. And no possible way to win. She pulls Sabrina closer and whispers the same words over and over like a prayer. Like a spell. Like a promise to a universe that stopped listening long ago. I will protect you. I will protect you. I will protect you. But in her heart, she feels the truth settling like poison. She cannot protect anyone. Not even herself. The nightmare has begun. And there is no waking up. Taraji does not sleep that night. She cannot. Every time she closes her eyes, she sees Tiana's cold smile. Hears those words. You have no one to protect you. Sabrina finally drifted off around midnight, exhausted from crying. Now she sleeps curled against her mother, one small hand clutching Taraji's shirt like a lifeline. Taraji stares at the ceiling and counts the cracks in the plaster. 37. She has counted them 1,000 times before. They spread like veins across the surface, branching and connecting, a map of decay. The contract sits on the floor where she dropped it. She has not touched it since Tiana left. Has not even looked at it directly. As if ignoring it might make it disappear. But it does not disappear. Nothing ever does. At 3 in the morning, Taraji finally gets up. She moves carefully, trying not to wake Sabrina. She walks to the window and stares out at the sleeping city. Somewhere out there, Tiana is probably sleeping in her mansion. Comfortable. Content. Dreaming of stealing a child. Rage burns in Taraji's chest. Hot and bitter and useless. What good is anger when you have no power? What good is righteous fury when the world does not care? She thinks about calling the police. But what would she say? A rich woman offered me money for my daughter? That is not illegal. Disturbing, yes. Wrong, absolutely. But not illegal. Not yet. She thinks about running. Packing what little they have and disappearing into another city. But where would they go? She has no money for bus tickets. No place to stay. No way to survive. She thinks about fighting. Standing her ground. Refusing to give in. But Tiana's threat echoes in her mind. I have lawyers. Very good lawyers. I can take her anyway. Is that true? Can she really do that? Can money and power override a mother's love? Taraji wants to believe the answer is no. But she has lived in this world long enough to know better. The rich always win. Always. They write the rules and then break them when it is convenient and suffer no consequences. A sound behind her makes her turn. Sabrina is sitting up in bed, rubbing her eyes. Mama? Why are you not sleeping? Just thinking, baby. Go back to sleep. I cannot sleep either. Sabrina climbs out of bed and walks over, wrapping her arms around Taraji's waist. I had a bad dream. About what? I dreamed you went away and never came back. And I was all alone. Taraji's heart clenches. She kneels down and takes her daughter's face in her hands. That will never happen. Do you hear me? I will never leave you. Not ever. Not for anything. Promise? I promise. On my life. On everything I am. You are stuck with me forever. Sabrina smiles weakly. Forever is a long time. Not long enough. They stand together at the window watching the city breathe. Taraji thinks about all the other mothers out there. All the other families struggling and breaking and trying desperately to hold on. Are any of them facing what she is facing? Has anyone ever had to make this choice? Mama, Sabrina says quietly. That lady yesterday. She scared me. She scared me too, baby. Is she going to come back? Taraji wants to lie. Wants to say no, everything is fine, we are safe. But she cannot bring herself to do it. I do not know, she says honestly. But if she does, I will handle it. That is my job. To protect you. You are a good mama. Those words break something inside Taraji. She pulls Sabrina close and buries her face in her daughter's hair. I'm trying so hard, baby. I'm trying so hard. They stay like that until the first light of dawn starts to creep across the sky. Gray and cold. A new day arriving whether they want it or not. Taraji makes breakfast with the last of their food. Toast and water. Sabrina eats without complaint. She never complains. She is 7 years old and already knows that complaining makes things worse. Do I have to go to school today? Sabrina asks. Taraji wants to say no. Wants to keep her daughter close. Safe. But missing school means more problems. More scrutiny. More reasons for people to judge her as an unfit mother. Yes, baby. You have to go. But I will pick you up today. Right at 3 o'clock. I promise. Okay, Mama. They get ready in silence. The routine is familiar. Comforting in its repetition. Brush teeth. Comb hair. Put on shoes that are wearing through at the toes. Try to look presentable even though everything is falling apart. The walk to school feels different today. Everything feels different. Like the world has tilted slightly off its axis and nothing is quite where it should be. At the school gates, Taraji hugs Sabrina extra tight. I love you more than the stars, she whispers. I love you more than the stars, Sabrina echoes. Then she looks up at her mother with worried eyes. Everything is going to be okay, right, Mama? Taraji forces a smile. Everything is going to be okay. Another lie. But what else can she say? How do you tell a 7-year-old that the world is trying to tear you apart? She watches Sabrina walk into the school building. Watches until her daughter disappears from view. And then she just stands there, frozen, unable to make her feet move. What if Tiana comes while Sabrina is at school? What if she has papers? Court orders? What if Taraji never sees her daughter again? Panic claws at her throat. She pulls out her phone and calls the school office. Hello. This is Taraji Thompson, Sabrina Thompson's mother. I need you to know that no one is allowed to pick up my daughter except me. No one. Not family, not friends, not anyone claiming to be acting on my behalf. Only me. Is everything all right, Mrs. Thompson? Just please. Promise me. Only me. There is a pause. Of course. I will make a note in her file. Thank you. Taraji hangs up and realizes her hands are shaking so badly she nearly drops the phone. She takes a breath. Another. Forces herself to calm down. She has to go to work. She has to keep her remaining jobs. If she loses them, she has nothing. And nothing means Tiana wins by default. The morning shift at the hospital passes in a blur. Taraji scrubs floors and empties trash bins and tries not to think about the contract sitting in her apartment. Tries not to imagine what $50,000 would feel like. What it would mean. Freedom. Security. A chance to breathe. All for the small price of destroying her own soul. At noon, during her break, she sits in the employee locker room and finally allows herself to really think about it. What if Tiana is right? What if Sabrina would be better off? A mansion instead of a crumbling apartment. Good food instead of hunger. Warm clothes. Good schools. Everything a child deserves. And what does Taraji give her? Poverty. Fear. Constant worry. A mother who works so hard she is barely present. A life of struggle with no end in sight. Maybe Tiana is right. Maybe the most loving thing Taraji could do is let go. The thought makes her want to vomit. No. A child needs love more than money. Needs her mother more than material things. Sabrina would not be happier in a mansion with a stranger. She would be traumatized. Broken. Lost. But alive. Federal safe. Taraji drops her head into her hands. This is impossible. Every option leads to pain. Every choice leads to loss. Her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Have you made your decision? Time is running out. EK. Tiana. Of course. Applying pressure. Turning the screws. Taraji stares at the message for a long time. Then she types back with trembling fingers. My answer is no. Leave us alone. She hits send before she can second-guess herself. 3 dots appear immediately. Tiana is typing. That is unfortunate. I had hoped we could do this the easy way. Now I will have to pursue other options. Expect a visit from Child Protective Services within the next 24 hours. I have filed a report expressing concerns about your daughter's welfare. Good luck, Taraji. You are going to need it. The words hit like ice water. Child Protective Services. A report. Tiana is not bluffing. She is weaponizing the system against them. Taraji's break ends, but she cannot move, cannot think, cannot breathe. CPS will come. They will see the apartment, the poverty, the lack of food. They will see a mother who is barely holding on. And they will take Sabrina away. Not to Tiana. Not yet. To foster care. To strangers. To a system that chews up vulnerable children and spits them out broken. And then Tiana will swoop in. The wealthy savior. The perfect adoptive parent. She will offer stability and resources and everything the system wants. And they will give her Sabrina. Either way, Taraji loses. She pulls herself together enough to finish her shift. Then she goes to the diner for her second job. She takes orders and serves food and smiles at customers who do not see her. Her body is present, but her mind is somewhere else. Spinning through scenarios. Searching for escape routes that do not exist. At 2:30, she tells her supervisor she needs to leave early. To pick up her daughter from school. Again? The supervisor frowns. Taraji, this is becoming a pattern. I know. I'm sorry. It is an emergency. Everything with you is an emergency. Please. Just this once. I will stay late tomorrow. I will work a double shift. Whatever you need. The supervisor sighs. Fine. But this is the last time. We need reliable employees. I understand. Thank you. Taraji practically runs to the school. She arrives 10 minutes early and stands at the gates, watching. Waiting. Protecting. Other parents gather. They chat and laugh and check their phones. Their lives seem so normal. So easy. Do any of them know how lucky they are? Do any of them lie awake counting dollars and days and impossible choices? At 3 o'clock exactly, the doors open. Children pour out like water released from a dam. Sabrina appears near the back, her eyes scanning the crowd. When she sees Taraji, her whole face lights up. Mama? She runs over and throws herself into Taraji's arms. Taraji catches her and holds on tight. Too tight. Like she is drowning and Sabrina is the only thing keeping her afloat. I missed you, baby. I missed you too. Can we go home now? Yes. Let us go home. They walk hand in hand through the streets. Taraji keeps looking over her shoulder, expecting to see Tiana's car, or lawyers, or police. But there is nothing. Just the normal chaos of the city. Normal people living normal lives while hers falls apart. When they reach their building, a woman is standing by the entrance. Middle-aged, professional, carrying a clipboard. Taraji's blood runs cold. Taraji Thompson? The woman asks. Who are you? The woman pulls out a badge. My name is Sandra Chin. I am with Child Protective Services. I received a report of concern regarding your daughter. I need to speak with you and conduct a home inspection. This is it. The nightmare Tiana promised. It is happening. Right now. There has been a mistake, Taraji says, her voice shaking. My daughter is fine. We are fine. I'm sure you are. But I still need to follow protocol. May I come inside? It is not really a question. Taraji knows if she says no, it will only make things worse. Of course, she manages. They walk up the 3 flights of stairs in terrible silence. Sabrina holds her mother's hand so tight it hurts. She can feel the fear radiating off Taraji. Children always know. Taraji unlocks the door and they step inside. Sandra follows, her professional mask firmly in place. But Taraji sees the way her eyes scan the room, taking in every detail, every crack, every sign of poverty. How long have you lived here? Sandra asks, making notes on her clipboard. 3 years. And what is your current employment status? I work 2 jobs. Hospital cleaning and waitressing. What about the father? Is he involved? There is no father. It has always been just us. More notes. More judgment hidden behind professional courtesy. Sandra walks around the small space. Opens the refrigerator. Nearly empty. Checks the cabinets. Also nearly empty. Looks at the single bed they share. The peeling paint. The water-stained ceiling. Mrs. Thompson, I understand you are struggling. But your daughter deserves adequate living conditions. Adequate nutrition. I need to ask you some questions about Sabrina's recent fainting episode at school. She was just tired. The school nurse said it was from malnutrition. We had a bad week. It happens. But I am taking care of it. Sandra kneels down to Sabrina's level. Hi, Sabrina. My name is Sandra. Can I ask you some questions? Sabrina looks at her mother first. Taraji nods, even though every instinct screams to grab her daughter and run. Are you happy at home? Sandra asks gently. Sabrina nods. Does your mom take good care of you? My mama is the best mama in the whole world. Do you have enough to eat? Sabrina hesitates, just for a second. But Sandra catches it. Most of the time, Sabrina says quietly. Sandra makes more notes. Then she stands and looks at Taraji with something that might be sympathy. Mrs. Thompson, I am going to be honest with you. This situation is concerning. Your daughter is underweight. Your living conditions are substandard. You are clearly doing your best, but your best may not be enough. So what happens now? Taraji's voice is barely a whisper. I am going to open a case file. I will need to conduct follow-up visits. And I am going to require that Sabrina receive a full medical evaluation. If things do not improve, we may need to consider alternative living arrangements. Alternative living arrangements. Such a clinical phrase for ripping a child from her mother's arms. How long do I have? That depends on what we find. But I would suggest you make some immediate changes. Find additional resources. Food banks. Social services. Whatever you can access. I have tried. I make too much to qualify but not enough to survive. I understand. The system is broken in many ways. Sandra hands Taraji a card. This is my direct number. If you need help, call me. I am not the enemy here. I want what is best for Sabrina. What is best for Sabrina is staying with me. Sandra does not respond to that. She just gathers her things and heads for the door. I will be in touch. Then she is gone. The door closes. Taraji stands frozen in the center of the room. Sabrina looks up at her with frightened eyes. Mama, are they going to take me away? The question shatters what little composure Taraji has left. She drops to her knees and pulls Sabrina into her arms. No, baby. No. I will not let that happen. I promise. But even as she says the words, she knows they might be lies. She is watching her worst nightmare unfold in slow motion and there is nothing she can do to stop it. Her phone buzzes. Another text from Tiana. How did your visit go? Are you ready to discuss my offer now? The clock is ticking. Make the right choice before it is too late. Taraji stares at the message through tears. Tiana orchestrated this. Filed a false report. Set this whole nightmare in motion. All to force Taraji's hand. And it is working. Because now Taraji has a new fear. What if CPS takes Sabrina and puts her in foster care? What if she ends up somewhere worse? Abused? Neglected? Lost in a system that does not care? At least with Tiana she would be safe. Federal cared for. Even if she would not be loved. Even if she would be a possession instead of a daughter. Taraji rocks back and forth, holding Sabrina, her mind fracturing under the weight of impossible choices. 3 days until eviction. 1 day until Tiana demands a final answer. And Child Protective Services building a case to take her daughter away. Every door is closing. Every option is a betrayal. And somewhere across the city, Tiana Kingsley sits in her mansion, sipping wine, confident that victory is inevitable. Because she understands something Taraji is only now learning. When you have money and power, you do not need to win fairly. You just need to win. And Tiana always wins. 2 days pass like a slow death. Taraji barely eats, barely sleeps. She just exists in a fog of terror and exhaustion, watching the hours tick away. Sandra from CPS calls twice. More questions. More inspections scheduled. The case file is growing. The walls are closing in. Tiana texts every few hours. Reminding her. Pressuring her. The offer still stands. $50,000. A year of rent. Freedom from this nightmare. All for Sabrina. On the third day, Taraji wakes up to find another envelope slipped under her door. This one is different. Official. Legal. Eviction notice, final warning. You have 24 hours to vacate the premises or law enforcement will be called. This is it. The end of the countdown. Tomorrow they will be on the streets. Taraji sits on the edge of the bed and stares at nothing. Sabrina is still asleep beside her, peaceful and innocent. Unaware that everything is about to fall apart. What kind of mother lets her child become homeless? What kind of mother chooses pride over her daughter's well-being? Taraji's phone rings. Unknown number. She answers without thinking. Hello. Taraji. It is Tiana. We need to talk. Today. Right now. I told you my answer. And how is that working out for you? You are being evicted tomorrow. CPS is building a case against you. You have no job prospects, no money, no options. How long are you going to let your daughter suffer because of your stubbornness? Taraji closes her eyes. What do you want from me? I want you to do what is right. I want you to put Sabrina first. I am coming to your apartment in 1 hour. Have your decision ready. The line goes dead. Taraji sits in the silence, feeling the weight of the world crushing her chest. 1 hour. 1 hour to decide her daughter's fate. 1 hour to choose between unbearable options. She looks at Sabrina sleeping peacefully. Her beautiful, innocent daughter who deserves so much more than this broken life. And suddenly, clarity cuts through the fog. This is not about Taraji. It never was. This is about Sabrina. About giving her a chance. About loving her enough to let go. Tears stream down Taraji's face as the decision solidifies. The most horrible, heartbreaking, necessary decision she will ever make. She gently wakes Sabrina. Baby, we need to talk. 55 minutes later, Tiana arrives with her lawyers. She walks into the apartment with the confidence of someone who knows she has already won. Have you made your decision? She asks. Taraji stands holding a bag she packed with Sabrina's few belongings. Her hands shake but her voice is steady. I have conditions. Tiana's eyebrow raises. You are not in a position to make demands. These are not demands. They are requirements. If you want my daughter, you will agree to them. Tiana gestures for her to continue. First, Sabrina gets to call me once a week. Every week. For as long as she wants to. That would be confusing for her transition. That is my condition. Take it or leave it. Tiana pauses, then nods. Fine. Second, you will set up a trust fund for her. So when she turns 18, she has options. Independence. The ability to make her own choices. I was planning to do that anyway. Third, and most important, Taraji's voice cracks but she pushes through. You will tell her the truth. Not now. But when she is older. You will tell her that I loved her. That I gave her up because I wanted her to have a better life. That every single day without her killed me. You will not let her think I abandoned her or did not want her. Promise me that. Tiana studies her for a long moment. Something flickers in her eyes. Respect maybe. Or just satisfaction at getting what she wants. I promise. Taraji nods, tears flowing freely now. Then I will sign. The lawyers produce the papers. Taraji reads through them with blurred vision, her heart breaking with every word. Voluntary termination of parental rights. She is signing away her daughter. Her reason for living. Her entire world. But she is also giving Sabrina a chance at life. Real life. Food and warmth and education and everything Taraji cannot provide. Sometimes love means sacrifice. Sometimes being a good mother means breaking your own heart. She signs. Her hand shakes so badly she can barely form the letters of her name. But she does it. Tiana immediately produces a check. $50,000. She places it on the table like it means nothing. Where is Sabrina? Tiana asks. In the bedroom. I need a moment with her first. Alone. Tiana nods and steps outside with her lawyers. The door closes. Taraji walks into the bedroom where Sabrina sits on the bed, clutching her stuffed rabbit. The only toy she has left. Mama? What is happening? Taraji sits beside her daughter and pulls her close. Baby, I need to tell you something. And I need you to listen carefully. You are scaring me. I know. I am scared too. Taraji takes a shaky breath. That lady, Mrs. Kingsley, is going to take care of you for a while. She has a big house and lots of food and she can give you things that I cannot right now. Sabrina's eyes go wide with terror. No. I do not want to go with her. I want to stay with you. I know, baby. I know. But this is temporary. Just until Mama can get back on her feet. Just until I can give you the life you deserve. It is a lie. Taraji knows it is forever. But she cannot bring herself to tell her daughter the full truth. Not yet. Let her have hope. Let her think her mother is coming back. I do not care about big houses or food. I just want you. Taraji's heart shatters into a million pieces. She holds Sabrina tight and rocks her as she cries. I want you too, baby. More than anything in this whole world. But sometimes grown-ups have to make hard choices. Choices that hurt but are still right. This is not right. This is not right. I love you, Sabrina. I love you more than the stars. And I always will. No matter where you are or how much time passes. You are my daughter forever. Nothing can change that. Then do not make me go. Please, Mama. Please. The sound of her daughter's pleading breaks something inside Taraji that can never be repaired. But she has made her choice. She has signed the papers. There is no going back. You are going to be okay, Taraji whispers through her tears. You are going to have a beautiful life. And maybe someday when you are older you will understand why I did this. Why I loved you enough to let you go. There is a soft knock at the door. Tayana's voice. It is time. Those 3 words are the worst Taraji has ever heard. She stands pulling Sabrina with her. They walk to the door together. Taraji opens it. Tayana stands there and for just a moment their eyes meet. 2 mothers. One biological, one soon to be adoptive. One broken, one victorious. Be good to her, Taraji whispers. She is everything. I will, Tayana says quietly. And strangely Taraji believes her. Sabrina clings to her mother, sobbing. Mama, no. Do not make me go. I will be better. I will eat less. I will not complain. Please. Each word is a knife. Taraji kneels down one last time, memorizing her daughter's face. The curve of her cheeks. The color of her eyes. The feel of her small hands. I love you more than anything, she says. Remember that. Always remember that. Then, with strength she did not know she possessed, Taraji stands and gently pushes Sabrina toward Tayana. Tayana takes Sabrina's hand. The girl screams and reaches back for her mother, but Tayana holds firm. It is okay, Sabrina, Tayana says, her voice surprisingly gentle. You are safe. Everything is going to be okay. But it is not okay. Nothing is okay. Nothing will ever be okay again. As Tayana leads Sabrina toward the stairs, the girl's cries echo through the hallway. Mama. Mama. Please. Taraji stands in the doorway, tears streaming down her face, her arms empty, her heart destroyed. She watches until they disappear down the stairs. Watches until the sound fades. Watches until there is nothing left but silence. Then she closes the door, slides down to the floor and breaks completely. 3 years later. Taraji sits in a small but clean apartment. Not luxurious but hers. She works one steady job now at a medical office. The $50,000 gave her time to breathe. Time to heal. Time to build something sustainable. Every week, like clockwork, her phone rings at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. Hi, Mama. Sabrina's voice. Older now. 10 years old. She tells Taraji about school, about her friends, about the piano lessons Tayana enrolled her in. She sounds healthy. Happy. Love. And it breaks Taraji's heart and heals it at the same time. I miss you, Sabrina always says. I miss you too, baby. Every single day. Mrs. Kingsley says maybe I can visit you soon. When I am ready. I would like that very much. They talk for an hour. About everything and nothing. And when they hang up, Taraji cries. She always cries. But they are different tears now. Not just grief. Also gratitude. Because Sabrina is thriving. She is fed and safe and educated and growing into an amazing young girl. Did Taraji make the right choice? She still does not know. Maybe she never will. But she made the only choice she could. She loved her daughter enough to give her a chance at life, even though it destroyed her own. That is what mothers do. They sacrifice. They break. They bleed. And they keep loving no matter what. Taraji looks at the picture of Sabrina on her wall. Smiling. Bright. Beautiful. I love you more than the stars, she whispers. And somewhere across the city, in a beautiful bedroom filled with toys and books, Sabrina whispers back to the photo of her mother she keeps beside her bed. I love you more than the stars. Some endings are not happy. Some endings are just survival. Some endings are bittersweet and complicated and painful and real. But they are still endings. And sometimes that has to be enough. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed creating it. Like, share, subscribe and comment on the lessons learned. Let me know where you're watching from in the comments below. See you in the next video.